So we owe her a great debt of gratitude for her dedication to this, to her country. So let's do what we're here to do. Let's give her that Nebraska welcome.
To get to be here. Thank you for allowing us to keep this casual too. This is our one of our last stops on the road in this swing through this part of the country. So honored to get to find the most awesome candidate for you, Nebraska, to be able to help lead you, even though Nebraska is doing so well. You know, it's moving and shaking and growing, and you guys should be very, very proud of all that you as people are doing in Nebraska, but can't wait to see what is accomplished in this state once he takes the reins, and you guys will really, really thrive. And it's an honor to get to know him and his family, and to be encouraged by his boldness that he would actually want us, you know, to say, really. And I can't tell you what an honor it is to be introduced by such a trailblazer, by Kay Orr. You know, another thing that Nebraska should be so proud of, you know, paving the way. There's been fewer than a dozen Republican women elected governor, and here she, you know, she being the first, she being the one to have just busted through a glass ceiling, and never though one to tout the gender issue, never capitalizing on really what it is that she was able to accomplish for women, because she is such a literal equal rights proponent that she knows that gender doesn't matter when it comes to, especially politics, that what matters is character and ideas and accomplishments. So, you know, so even though you have a male candidate here, we're still rooting for her. And wonderful to get to know his wife too. And you know, they always say behind every successful man stands a surprised woman. She's known him for a long time. She's probably not surprised though. But no, Kay Orr, really an original Mama Grizzly. I just can't tell you how much I admire her. And so many Americans admire her, and admire Nebraska for the trailblazing that you did in electing her. You probably were going rogue all the time, weren't you, back then? You know? Yeah. I don't know what they called it then, but yeah. I'm here today, though, to join Kay in endorsing your next great governor, and that is Pete Ricketts. And I can't wait to see that primary, and then you know, and then another long haul that he'll have, that you all will have, in supporting him through the general. But the Cornhusker state is growing; it's moving leaps and bounds. You guys be proud of what's going on here, and thankfully, though, Pete recognizes that what really happens in terms of efficacy, in terms of effectiveness when it comes to governing, it is on the state level. The most effective and responsible and responsive level of government, I believe, is the state level. He will join other conservative governors across the nation to show Washington, D.C. how to balance a budget and how to live within its means. And he will hopefully, I have trust in this, he's going to help the rest of America understand that the federal government could and should be as irrelevant in our lives as possible. It is. I just so appreciate that he is a principled conservative, you know, actually walking the walk, and he has accomplishments to prove that. I love that he is able to live the American dream. I am a believer in teaching our kids not to fear success and not to let anybody make you feel bad for desiring success, right? And style in politics, I think, is trying to kind of set this tone in America that you should be ashamed of desiring reward for your work ethic. No, what built this great country, what made us exceptional, was reward for work ethic and development of resources. And he understands both, and that's what we need. So he does stand apart from the other candidates in this race, having spent his life in the private sector. That's very valuable because, as you all know, like Ronald Reagan used to say, government isn't the answer. Too often it's the problem, and it's the private sector, and someone coming from the private sector who understands what it takes there, again, with work ethic, in order to grow jobs, in order to get an economy roaring. It is private sector success, and he'll bring that experience. Speaking of Ronald Reagan, too, again, back to Kate Orr. Ronald Reagan's, and the spotlight's still on the candidate, but oh my God, I love her. Ronald Reagan, his last state dinner, he had on both sides. On one side, he had Margaret Thatcher. The other side, he had Kate Orr. His last state dinner. So that's the company that we're in. I'm also happy to know more about Pete. When you consider his family, you consider how much he is into family values, protecting innocent life, being pro-life. That means so much to me and so much to so many Americans. In a lot of respects, that says it all. That says that, yeah, he lives out today, and he will continue to live out that family, faith, and freedom principle, those virtues that make our country great, and he actually lives those out. And it's fun to hear more about his kids, too, that they're so proud of him, and they don't just call him, this bold conservative, they call him the bold, bald conservative. I think that's cool. My kids call me some things, too. In fact, my son, who's in the Army, he heard that on that show the other night, on Palin's show, Palin threw out my son's name, Track, and he also made up a couple of names for kids that he would assume would be mine, Jacket and Bracket. And anyway, my son heard that his name was mentioned, and of course he's like, Mom, do you have to admit? I said, well, you got kind of a weird name, so sorry, son. We thought it was cool at the time, 25 years ago. I'm very, very happy to get to be here and to get to participate in just a little tiny amount of energy, being able to share with you all, because he is such a good candidate. His family's a great family. The American dream is being lived out here in Nebraska, and you will all benefit. The rest of the nation will benefit as you choose that right leader for this most wonderful state. So thank you so much for letting me be here, and I can't wait to hear from the candidate, because that is why we are here, and we honor you. We thank you for being willing to serve. That's the thing too, man. He's going to be out there in the arena for you all. He's going to be doing this for you. And now it is your responsibility, though, to make sure he's able to get there. And then when he's there, to be able to support him, keep him accountable, but support him and make sure that he knows that he's got your back, so you have his back too, you supporters, and work really hard to get him in there. So, Pete Ricketts, thank you for letting me be here, and God bless you in your race.
Thank you all so much for being here this morning, and thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here for this event. I just need to start off by thanking my lovely wife, Suzanne, without whose love and support none of this would be possible. I would like to thank Governor Orr, who's been a mentor of mine on this campaign, and of course, pioneer in her own right, having been the first woman governor of Nebraska and the first elected Republican governor, woman governor in the United States. And of course, I couldn't be more pleased or excited to be up here on stage with Governor Palin. really humbling that you would come to Nebraska for me. I very much appreciate it. I'm just so honored to have you up on stage. I remember when you announced that you're going to be the vice presidential candidate. I was actually at the Republican National Convention, and I can't tell you what an excitement and electricity and buzz it created. And even here in Nebraska, right, when that announcement came out, the phones were ringing off the hook at the state party headquarters of people who wanted to volunteer to help out your campaign. You just created so much energy for that campaign, and thank you very much for stepping up. Our two states are actually very much alike. We were both frontier states. We were both homestead states. Both states rooted in those rural values of hard work, independence, self-reliance, courage. Those are the values that Governor Palin has demonstrated throughout her career. It goes back to her family fishing business, working with her husband Todd, and then serving on the city council, and then becoming mayor of Wasilla, setting out goals, working hard, accomplishing the job, and then becoming the first woman governor of Alaska, fighting special interests, reforming state government, building infrastructure, creating jobs and opportunities for all Alaskans. It's that track record of success, those values, hard work, self-reliance, courage, independence, toughness, fairness, all those values that Governor Palin represents, and are values that I want to emulate as your next governor in Nebraska. I've logged 26,000 miles crisscrossing the state, talking to folks like you about what they want to see out of the next governor. What are their hopes and dreams? And what people talk to me about really fall into three broad categories. The first is education. How do we get better educational outcomes for all of our kids? And in particular, I want to focus on career development, vocational training, and make that a priority in all of our high schools. Agriculture is obviously a big part of our state. It's the heart and soul of who we are, and it drives our economy. 25% of the people here in Nebraska are employed in agriculture. That's why I was on my ag and manufacturing tour, talking to folks. Why I put together an ag advisory committee. Many of those members are here today. And I'm the only candidate who's put out a plan on how we grow agriculture here in Nebraska. It talks about how we reduce property taxes, address water sustainability, and promote corn ethanol and other value-added agriculture here in the state to grow agriculture. And then the third big bucket is just how do we create more and better paying jobs here in the state? And that revolves around having a sense of common sense culture and regulation and reducing the overall tax burden. We have tremendous opportunity here in the state. And Governor Hyman has done a wonderful job of keeping a lid on taxes and spending. And now it's time to build on that foundation and take it to the next level. And that's where my business experience is so important. Because we need to fundamentally reform state government. And to do that, you need somebody with a fresh perspective. Somebody who's got a track record of success in the private sector. A real-world conservative. And I am that candidate. I'm the only candidate that's helped grow a small Nebraska company into one of the largest financial service firms here in the country, employing over 2,000 people here in Nebraska. And I want to bring that experience to the office of the governor to help slow the growth of government, to cut taxes, have common sense regulation, and thereby allow our companies to expand and grow, to bring more people into the state, to broaden the tax base, and cut taxes again. And get into that cycle of virtuous growth where we're expanding the state, cutting taxes, helping Nebraskans have more opportunities, and then growing some more. That's my vision for Nebraska. I ask you all to help me out because I can't do this alone. I need the help of folks like you and thousands of other Nebraskans from all across the state. Please join my campaign. My website's www.petericketts.com. Please like me on Facebook. My wife says, Pete, it's pathetic. You go around the state asking people to like you. But please like me. Join my campaign and we can move Nebraska forward together. Yes. So I would have a request. First of all, vote for me May 13th. And second of all, when you walk out of here today, please talk to your friends and families and neighbors. I'm up on air right now running advertising. But I can't run an ad as good as you saying to somebody, hey, I know Pete Ricketts, and he's the guy who needs to be our next governor. So please talk to your friends. Your word-of-mouth recommendation is the best advertising I could have. So I'd like to wrap up here again by saying thank you, Governor Orr, very much. I appreciate it. Again, Governor Palin, I am just so pleased and honored that you would come here today. I just can't tell you how much it means to me. Somebody who's done the job before, standing up here on stage with me is just tremendous. Thank you all for coming out here today. God bless America, and God bless Nebraska.